When it came to the creation of the Loki TV series, we've learned a lot about how complex and difficult it was to pitch something this different to the MCU. And in another recent interview with The Hollywood Reporter, we learned that the initial pitches for the series and the writing team were actually too normal and not weird enough to be accepted, so they had to go back to the drawing board multiple times. So with Loki being the latest hype machine that's I guess, casualty of Marvel Studios dominating Hollywood, there is plenty to talk about when it comes to the series. And recently, when it came to The Hollywood Reporter getting a sit-down with multiple people involved with the show, one person they specifically wanted to talk to about building this creative new universe and playground for Loki was Kate Herron. And she was very instrumental there from the early development of the series. And she says that when they ended up coming up with some ideas, and that these ideas would play out across 6 episodes, this was all submitted to Marvel Studios and Kevin Feige. He got back to them and said, well, it's good, but it's not weird enough. You need to go weirder. You need to go a little bit more out there. You need to be a little bit more unique. You need to have a little bit more going on that isn't necessarily the safest way to handle it. And this isn't the first time we're hearing this. We heard this with WandaVision, when they came up with so many concepts like, can we bring back this actor? Referencing Evan Peters. Kevin Feige was quick to go, yeah, sure, let's work on this. And they were like, oh, okay, well, we didn't think we would get that one. Falcon and Winter Soldier. They didn't know if they could use certain aspects, and Feige came back and said, sure, that's a little weird, but how do you want to involve that in there? What do you think you're going to do with that character and that aspect? So they made it fit. So I can see how Loki, a series that's completely different than anything that was greenlit in that first wave, they sat down, they were like, well, how do we contain this to what we think it is? And they wrote a safer version where it's like, okay, we're not going to touch on this, we're not going to touch upon that, maybe we won't have this cameo. And then Feige sits down with you and goes, it's good, but can't you be a little bit more risky? Like, this is like safe. What is this, Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D.? No, we are allowed to go a little bit more into the Marvel, pantheon of crazy. So do it. And I didn't mean to insult Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. there. I love that series, but you guys get what I'm saying. S.H.I.E.L.D. was allowed to do what they did, and when they disconnected from the main MCU, that's when they were allowed a little bit more. So these guys probably wrote a safer version of what we're getting, and we're like, well, this is good. They'll let us do all of this. And then Feige comes back and goes, why were you so safe? Weirder. This is Loki. This is the central node of space and time, dealing with fragmented timelines. Why aren't you going more risky and unique? Do it. So they did. And I think we're seeing the results of that, and it's definitely good. It's a good thing that they were pushed a little bit weirder.